Step outside in any major city on a blistering summer afternoon, and you'll immediately recognize that heavy, sticky scent of hot asphalt. That smell signifies something invisible and dangerous, a rising cloud of toxic chemical vapors. We've paved over a massive chunk of our modern world with this material. In cities like Phoenix, Arizona, roads and parking lots now cover roughly 40% of the total land area. If you gathered all that pavement from the Arizona Capitol and piled it into one place, it would blanket San Francisco 4 times over. All of this dark material acts like a giant sponge for the sun's energy. It absorbs heat by day and radiates it by night, creating an urban heat island effect that makes cities artificially hot and drives up energy consumption. The real threat starts when this material bakes in the sun. Asphalt is mostly crushed rock and sand, held together by bitumen, a black, sticky sludge left over from refining crude oil. Under extreme heat and ultraviolet sunlight, that crude oil binder physically breaks down. As it degrades, it releases volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. These are carbon-based vapors that easily slip into our lungs and bloodstreams. Breathing them leaves people dizzy in the short term. And over time, construction workers who regularly inhale these fumes face sharply elevated risks of lung cancer and neurological damage. Asphalt also exhibits a strange behavior as it decays. As petroleum-based roads get older and more weathered, their chemical profile shifts. The compounds they emit actually become smaller, highly toxic, and often completely odorless. To fix a health hazard spread across millions of miles, scientists realize they have to remove crude oil bitumen from the recipe entirely. Instead, they want to replace it with a biological alternative, fast-growing algae. Algae grow with terrifying speed. Some species can double their entire mass in a single day, yielding up to 10 times more usable biomass per acre than traditional crops like corn or soybeans. They act as nature's carbon sponges. Through photosynthesis, algae are constantly drawing carbon dioxide directly out of the atmosphere and trapping it to build their own cellular structure. The engineering challenge is figuring out how to take this wet, green plant matter and turn it into thick, black road tar without waiting for natural geological processes to take millions of years. This diagram illustrates a process called hydrothermal liquefaction. Scientists load harvested algae and wastewater into a bioreactor, essentially a high-tech pressure cooker. By subjecting the green liquid to intense heat and pressure, the system outputs a thick, rich bio-oil. It is the exact same mechanism the Earth uses to compress ancient organic matter into crude oil. Only now, scientists are condensing that entire timeline into a matter of hours. Beyond being greener, this new material actually performs better. Traditional petroleum asphalt turns brittle when exposed to freezing winter temperatures. That cold weather brittleness causes the pavement to snap. It forms deep fatigue cracking and a web-like fragmentation that eventually destroys the highway infrastructure. But researchers discovered that blending in just 6% of the algae biobinder alters how the pavement handles cold. The biological material keeps the asphalt flexible, allowing it to absorb the stress of heavy traffic in sub-zero weather without breaking. This chart compares the elastic recovery rates of the two materials under heavy load. Standard petroleum asphalt has a recovery rate of just 0.1%, but when researchers tested a bio-oil derived from a specific microalgae, the recovery rate jumps to 71%. Because of this flexibility, the biological material acts like an active, self-healing shock absorber rather than a passive, rigid surface waiting to crack. The math on the environmental side is straightforward. Every time you replace 1% of the traditional petroleum binder with the algae biobinder, net carbon emissions for that road drop by 3%. This graph tracks the drop in emissions. At a 33% biobinder blend, a road hits total carbon neutrality. Push that blend higher, and it drops into net negative territory. The highway removes more carbon than it creates. It also directly tackles the health crisis. Lab tests show that the biobinder acts as a chemical shield, locking in those highly toxic, artery-penetrating vapors. Incorporating the algae drops the overall toxicity of the asphalt emissions roughly 100-fold. By swapping crude oil for pond scum, we can take the dead, polluting arteries of human civilization and turn them into giant, living air filters. Of course, scaling a completely new material comes with steep hurdles. Right now, producing biobitumen costs significantly more than simply pumping and refining standard crude oil. Moving toward a bio-based economy requires massive industrial investment. We have over a century of complex fossil fuel infrastructure built up globally, and all of those refineries would eventually need to be replaced or adapted into high-tech biorefineries. We also need years of rigorous traffic testing. No matter how well a material performs in a controlled lab, real-world roads have to survive the unpredictable weight and stress of millions of commercial semi-trucks driving over them every single day. Still, the transition is already underway. Scientists are currently running pilot tests of these bioroads in the intense Arizona sun, while major construction projects in France and the UK are successfully putting biobitumen on test tracks. We have 4 million miles of road in America alone. So, is it time we start repaving our cities with algae? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.